Hello, Hina here. Now here's a tricky question. What's heavier, a kilogram of steel or coming up with original ideas? Don't look at me, I don't know. I asked those guys to help me with the intro. Gaming is mainstream now, more than ever. It's pretty hard to find people who never played a game in their life. It was mostly the V and DS era when people realized there is more to video games than just... Especially during the pandemic, there has been a massive surge in new console purchases and titles such as Animal Crossing New Horizons or Kirby and the Forgotten Land, games that were made for literally everyone. Are you fine with comic mischief and cartoon violence? Long gone the days when a console was made for one specific demographic and people can play whatever they want on them. The choices are limitless. I was told I'm special. Even if there are games that just feel right on certain consoles, you can play Resident Evil on a Switch and the entire Kunio-kun universe on a PlayStation. Recently, even in-house releases are appearing elsewhere after a while, mainly the PC. Look, I prefer consoles myself, but I can't deny you can play almost everything on the PC. It's a huge market, and for a lot of independent studios, that's the only place they can publish their games on. And they also taste better. So wouldn't that be the perfect world? A single machine for work and entertainment. It could be a lot more convenient than consoles. Just like what happened with phones, it's becoming a part of you. You wouldn't carry around your console. Don't challenge me. Hello, it's me. Welcome me. So I was thinking of buying some portable machinery, mainly for work, photography here and there, but I also wanted to last long, and also I want to game on it, so I would prefer something more powerful, but at the same time I want to place it on top of my lap. Let's call it a laptop. I think I have the perfect product for you. Gamers, the #1 enemy. Top 10. Okay, top 10,000. Apple has gone through an interesting back and forth with gaming. I don't think many people know that Steve Jobs himself was working for Atari and was even assigned to the designing of Breakout. But since he had little experience in it, he asked the help of Steve Wozniak. And if those two names sound familiar to you, that's because they created Apple thanks to this project. But after some early games, Apple tried to stay away from them for being too childish and kept a more professional approach. There were some original games and ports on the system, but not nearly as many as in Windows. They were powerful machines, but with no tools for game developers to utilize them. Of course I could beat you. I don't want to, but I could. Despite that, the Macintosh did have its fairly popular original series, The Dark Castle, and even some ports of iconic games like SimCity. But by the time Apple switched to color monitors and with a better programming interface, it was already too late. Even their biggest title at that time, Myst, got released on Windows just about 6 months later. Not to say it didn't change the industry, the Macintosh popularized using discs as game storage, an innovation that everyone uses even today. So much so that Bandai approached Apple and in collaboration they released the forgotten Apple gaming console, the Apple Pippin. It was a massive failure though for many reasons, including slow performance compared to the competitors and poor online connectivity despite being one of its selling points. It was followed by almost all gaming studios leaving Apple behind, either switching to Windows or closing down entirely. Phew, this gaming is not for us. Yeah, gaming is for children, and we are professionals. Yeah, but you know what would be more professional than entertaining children? Scamming children! And thus were born mobile games. With the introduction of the App Store on iOS, Apple indirectly created a new type of monetization with the so-called freemium games. You could download these games for free, but as soon as you played a bit, to continue playing, you needed to buy some sort of coin or energy in the form of an in-app purchase. We need inspiration for our monetization model. Drugs! It definitely looked good for Apple, how many free games they had on their platform, and for studios, it was a good way to get players into buying more stuff. Despite Apple creating a small issue for the gaming industry, that some would say ruined it altogether, and nowadays publishers just abuse it, making every little bit of dollar from the customer. It put them back in the gaming landscape, and fast forward a few years, mobile gaming is not necessarily a second-hand citizen anymore. Well, at least on iPhones. What do you mean my Android is not a gaming device? I'm having fun. iPads now are having the exact same chip as Apple's new MacBook lineup, and they can even run the exact same iOS games out of the box. So then, surely this machine has amazing Apple exclusive games, right? Kinda? With Apple using their own chips in MacBooks starting 2020, Mac users have access to all available iOS games as well as native Mac games. It's a great feature, no doubt, and their cross-platform technology make it easy to port games over like Sky or Among Us, but do you really want to play mobile games on your laptop? Has science gone too far? It's not common to find a title where that little extra help from the laptop's performance helps you out. Usually these games are made in mind with the phone's or tablet's limitations. Not to say they play bad on the Mac. Hell, even before Apple switching to their own chip allowing iOS games to be played there, they started their own gaming service, the Apple Arcade. It's a simple model. You pay a monthly fee, and in exchange you get access to more than 200 games on all of your Apple devices. How good of a deal is that for $5 a month? Fine. Apple Arcade is obviously not targeted towards the hardcore shooter and horror fans, but it is a nice selection of modern entries from beloved series, both from retro consoles and the first generation of mobile games. Still, I just can't think of a situation when I suddenly wanna play mini motorways, but neither my iPad nor my phone was available. Even if you only have an Android and no iPad, would you add a Mac only to play My Little Pony main merge? Oh, some would. And even if more Mac ports are coming to the system, have you heard anyone saying that, yeah, I played Resident Evil Village on my Mac? There are some games though, exclusive to the Mac and Mac only, which I read about in a guy's Reddit comment, so at least this one exists and it's also on the iOS. Okay, what about Return to the Dark Castle, part of the classic Mac series Dark Castle, which was re-released in 2011 and includes all the levels from the originals and even more levels, and is already not compatible with the newest Macs. Since macOS Catalina, Apple axed support for the older 32-bit architecture, and any game that was still written in that and has not been updated since are unplayable. Though some lucky ones got either their whole code published online, where fans could port it over to newer machines, or a free re-release for modern Macs like Pathways into Darkness, available on the App Store. As an avid horror fan myself, I am stoked! Okay, these are older games, but Embryo is the software, one of the OGs who stuck with Apple since 1993, and maybe in 2013 most of their employees were let go, but they said they wouldn't shut down until 2018 when they shut down. But at least one of their games, the Sketch Fighter 4000 Alpha, got remastered and published on the App Store in 2020 by one of the original game's designers, thus making it the currently truly only Mac exclusive game? In the end, is this even about the experience? If something is on my laptop and iOS device, is that a bad thing? Do we really need games that are only on the Mac, not on phones, not on consoles, and not on PCs? Or is it just about our pride? We want to look superior and justify investing into a platform? Is it really that bad that if us, Mac gamers, Windows gamers, and phone gamers can enjoy the same games? Yes. Yeah? Yes. Yeah? Damn it!